Welcome to your lesson number 5. How exciting is that? So today we're going to talk about chords. So all the music is based on chords, and most of the songs that you might love and enjoy are also built on chords. Today we're going to learn how to play the chords on the white keys, and the melody that we will be playing at the end of this course is also going to be played on the white keys only. So let's talk about the chords. When we played intervals, we would use 2 notes only and technically measure distance between them. In my course that is coming up very soon, we will be talking more about intervals and playing different type of intervals, which will allow you to read music, to compose your own music, and to understand it better. Let's talk about the chord. So the chord is usually named after the note that it begins with. And if you watch the previous lessons, you know that we read our intervals and chords, as I mentioned, from the bottom going to the top. Like with interval, let's take a look at the interval CG, which was interval 5, as I mentioned, because it has 5 notes, including with those that we are pressing, right? So we read this interval C, G, and we can play it together, press it together. And when we press it together, this interval is called fifth harmonic. We build in a harmony. When we press it apart, and we were alternating in the previous lesson, this one is called melodic, right? So chord is made of 3 notes. So we're gonna play fifth interval and we're gonna add the middle tone in the middle. You will always be playing your chords with fingers 1, 3, and 5. So I'm just like moving my fingers out of the way, 2nd and 4th, so you can see it, but you don't play chords like that. You always place the entire palm, but only pressing thumb, 3rd, and pinky on the keyboard, just like that, with very nice, soft, and relaxed hand. And please remember to curve your fingers slightly, keep your wrist up, and use tip of your finger as you play your chords. So let's try and play first chord. This is chord C. Every chord will be named after the note that it begins with. So this is the root note of the chord C. Then skip E, skip G. So this is how we build any chord. Now you can build chord C, and you can build chord F. If you move up, place F at the bottom, place skip and skip, press it all together. This is F chord, F, A, C. Then step up is going to be G chord, G, skip, B, skip, D. And let's go back to C chord. But you can play really like any chord this way. And let's try and do same thing in left hand. So let's play C chord. C is at the bottom with pinky. Let's move up to F chord. Pinky's on F. Step up, pinky is gonna be on G now. And let's go down to C. So when we press the notes of the chord all together, we call it block chord. We press it all together. Try and play same chords with both hands at the same time. C chord. Move up the keyboard to F at the bottom. Then one step up to G. And either up or down back to C. I want to go up. Beautiful. I'm happy that you could do this. So what you can play around with, you can either play interval in left hand, but just remember to stay in the same position, meaning that we're gonna have a C position in right and in left hand. Let's play maybe interval 5 in left hand, starting with C, and entire C chord in right hand. And maybe repeat chord 4 times. Go down to F, One step up to G. You can do the same thing with one note only. Gonna play this bottom note of the chord, root note, with pinky in left, F, step up to G, back up to or down to C. Now play chord in right hand and top note of the chord or top note of the interval in left hand, as we did with intervals. F, so it's going to be C in left, G chord, so it's going to be D in the left hand and back to C. Maybe try and play an alternated block in both hands. Left, right, left, right, left to F. I call this exercise ping pong. Beautiful. So try and practice it. Next exercise, I call it arpeggio. So what is arpeggio? Arpeggio is this like harp-like sound that we're going to try and create, and we're going to play our chord in the form of arpeggio. Going up, meaning like playing all the notes of the chord apart, from the bottom going to the top, or from the top going to the bottom. So from the bottom to the top. And we can play it up and down, or just like up, or just down. So how about we try and play arpeggio in both hands? Just ascending. Let's move from straight down to F. Step up to G. And up to C. Now play root note of the chord in left hand and arpeggio in right. Now to position of F chord, position of G chord, arpeggio. So just stop here and play all these exercises, and once you feel confident, move back to the next part. Please remember to watch your sitting position. Look at my back, I sit nice and straight. Look at my hands, they're nice and relaxed. They're not flat. I'm using tip of my finger, playing with very soft hands. And look how my arm just like follows my hand. It just like moves towards pinky, right? And so it produces this nice and soft sound. As a wind, right? So my palm looks very naturally from thumb to pinky, but wrist still stays up on the same level, right? Just observe that. So what else can we play? Another fun exercise, something that we have not done. You can actually find C in left hand, octave apart. This C and that C, and just play instead of one note, octave. This is called octave. When you press two notes at the same time, then F, then G, then C. And you can start with block, down to F, up to G, up to C, and go straight in right hand to arpeggio. Maybe up and down, up, without with no stops and breaks at the top. Now let's try and play chord progressions. What are the chord progressions? It's basically the mix of the chord, and that's what like all the music is based on. Let's try and do that. I'll just try and improvise and then you do the same thing. So let's press maybe block chord when we press it all together in right, and I'll show you what I would do, but you try something else. Just try and move around the keyboard, but make sure to stay in the same position in right and in left hand. If here I have C at the bottom, I'm gonna have C at the bottom over there, and maybe at first start and just play one single note in left hand and block or ascending or descending arpeggio in right. So let's see what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to C, gonna go to A, F, recognize this? Here's like your favorite chord progression, right? So it's gonna be C, skip down A, skip down F, step up to G, right? Here's your first song. So let's try and do different chord progressions. C, G, A, then I'll go down to E, F, G, C, but you try yours. So go through this lesson again as you doing your homework. Go through each exercise, play right and left hand apart. And if you have a hard time pressing all the notes of the chord at the same time, here's a little tip for you. So press interval first, C and G, and then add third in the middle. And try to raise second and fourth finger. It's all about coordination, and it's okay if it's really hard to do it at first. Trust me, you can do it. So try same with left hand, 1 and 5 first, and then add third one. I hope this lesson was fun. Look how many things you've learned during these 5 lessons. I'm very excited for you. I cannot wait to see you for lesson number 5. Please go through this lesson, do all the exercises, and I'll see you tomorrow or in a few days when you're ready for your next lesson.